end times, and God is raising up his people. And with the more people that come, the more people God is able to speak to and to empower. And so that's why we tell you to share the link. Just reminding you as well, on Saturday coming, we have our first family fun day. Before the end of the week, we will give you an update as to what is happening, and we're going to have a great time, and we're going to be connecting with each other. So let us continue. We thank First Lady, excuse me, we thank First Lady for what God has done through her. She continues to share, as she continues to, she always says, about me, that God is using me, but I see so much God using her, and I sit under her ministry too. When I'm here, it is not like, I'm the head of the ministry and she's second. No, we are partners, and God uses her to speak to everyone, including me. So I sit under her ministry and I listen. I follow all the instructions. I do everything. I want you to know that, because this is a woman of God that God is using mightily and continues to use mightily, and she's no fake. She's no fake. What you hear on the platform is this is who she is. She's sold out for God. And I'm grateful to have a wife like that. So I thank God for you, First Lady. So let's continue. We have been looking over a period of time at this topic of who am I? And we said that we are like God. And we have been looking at the attributes of God. We have been looking at some of the things that we know God is like, because he made us in his image and his likeness. So he made us like him. And so we have been looking at God and what he's like. The last thing we looked at was the fact that God is forgiven, and that we ought to be forgiven. And we looked at we looked at forgiveness. We brought in someone to talk about it, because it is so important. And I'm sure, again, we're going to come back to this point, because it's so important for us to talk about forgiveness. But I want to move on tonight. And there's something else that God is like that we need to take a note of. As a matter of fact, it is really the foundation of this ministry. The Bible says that God, in fact, 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loves is born of God and knows God. And he that does not love, he doesn't know God, because God is love." God is love. We want to start talking over the next few days about this thing called love. And I know, we've talked about it before, and I know many people have talked about it, but we need to talk about it. God is love. And what does that mean? So we're going to be talking about this thing called love. Every day we quote for you John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. A new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another. That's what God says, that you love one another. But how can we love one another if we don't know what love is? How can we? So let's talk about this thing called love. Now, we use the word love to mean many different things. We love our spouse, we love our children, we love our siblings, we love our friends, we even love foods, we love our animals, we love things that we enjoy. We just love, 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 and we use this word love. So the word love itself kind of gets distorted and sometimes even watered down, because it seems to be a common word now. I love this and I love that. I love my wife. Everybody knows that I love my wife. I say it publicly, that I love Nicole Richards. I also love red beans. I love avocado. I love soup. I love fruits. Hint, hint. And whatever fruit is in season, I love that fruit. Okay? So what does it mean? If you're loving everything, it means that this thing called love, maybe it's not so important, it's too common. And that is why some people sometimes get confused and they get it wrong when we say to them, I love you, because they're not sure what we mean when we say, I love you. In fact, some people, you can't tell them I love you, because they start thinking all sorts of things. You say I love you to somebody and they ooh. And especially if a man tells a man I love you, wow. They have a problem with that because of all that's going on in the world now. So you had to be careful about who you're saying you love. And so this thing called love has been distorted. We're not sure what it means. We're not sure what somebody means when they say, I love you. And so much so that we have had to, in Christianity, in Christendom, we have now had to qualify it by saying, I love you with the love of the Lord. Now, those of you who know me, and I've said it on this platform already, I don't like that expression at all. And I say to people, if you love me, tell me you love me. When you say with the love of the Lord, I'm not quite sure what that means, because the Bible says love is of God. So this thing, but I love you with the love of the Lord. And I understand why some people have to say it, because if you tell some people I love you, they get all sorts of ideas and thoughts in their head and, that sort of thing. So we have to be careful about saying I love you. So we're going to be talking about love, and we're going to be talking about many aspects of love in many different ways. I want to start off this evening by asking you the question, what does it mean to be in love? What does it mean to be in love? And how do you know that you're in love? And I think some people would want to hear that, because some people not sure if they ever were in love with somebody, or if anybody ever was in love with them. So we're going to help some people tonight. I want to hear from you. I want to hear as we kick off this talk about this thing called love. What does it mean, in your opinion? And I want people to be real. Be you. I'm not looking for a particular answer. I don't have the answer here and waiting to see who will come close to it. No. We want to hear from you. We want to talk, because being in love is something that a lot of people experience during their lifetime, but some people not even sure if they've ever experienced it. So we want to help them. What does it mean to be in love? How do you know? What are perhaps the characteristics? What are the signs that you're in love or somebody's in love? Can you tell if somebody's in love, either with you or somebody else? What does it mean to be in love? Let's hear from you. I want to get some feedback. Talk to me. And you all will tell me if any hands are up, please. What does it mean? And listen, be brave, be bold, be free. That is how we do it on this platform. You know that. So let's hear from you. What have you ever...
Okay, Doctor, let me take a guess at it, right? What I think.
Well, not a guess, you're not guessing. Tell us what you feel.
What I think, right? What I think. I think being in love is that when you meet someone of the opposite sex, that you find yourself caring about that person a lot, caring for the person. You find yourself thinking about them and only wanting what is that person brings something positive. The relationship with that person makes you want to be a better person or improving yourself. That's I'm saying because sometimes you meet people that you don't have to be in love with them, but they really challenge you to go to that next level to become the best version of yourself. But I think it's that person that you meet who makes you not only helps you to become a better person, but also you find that you get that sort of fuzzy feeling as well, being around them and being near
that what
to
feeling?
them.
That what feeling? That what
That
feeling? Fuzzy feeling.
That fuzzy feeling, and you find yourself thinking about people and really caring about them in a warm way. that is different from other people, Dr. Richards. So you have
Okay.
a hand up. You have a hand up. There's a just before we call Minister Joshua. There's someone says they are not sure because they have not experienced it. Then someone says that they've never been in love. A
Wow.
next comment, making and wanting the best for that person. And someone else says, butterflies. We have Minister Joshua, hand is up, and then Elder Sherry in that order.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Richards. My personal opinion is, first of all, I wanted to specify that I have never experienced love firsthand, or at least what I think to be love. So what my opinion is of love is similar to that of First Ladies, but more. So you find yourself caring about a particular person and you find yourself genuinely wanting to be around that person all of the time. You find yourself caring and worrying about the person and thinking about them at the most odd of times. Sometimes you could be doing something random and they just run across your mind. And just genuinely wanting to spend more time with that person each and every day. And yeah, and you just feel it, you just want to be with that person all the time. And you just because you could love someone and want to spend time with them, but it's more than just getting a fuzzy feeling. It's just wanting to be, you're just wanting to be, yeah, you're wanting to be with them all the time, and you feel like you're the same person kind of thing, right? You're willing to be with that person no matter what is wrong with them or what they might like that you might like. You just, yeah, you just feel like you could be yourself around them. You feel like they could be themselves around you and you have no problems with that person. So that's what I feel is more than just fuzzy feelings. It's more like you feel like you're with somebody that can understand you, and you feel like both of you feel like you could understand each other and you just feel like one person. And yeah, that's what I think that love is.
Thank you. Thank you, Joshua. For someone who has never been in love, you have a lot to say about it.
I
Interesting.
actually I get my opinion of love from you and First Lady.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Joshua. Who was the next person? Elder Sherry?
Okay, I wasn't getting to unmute. Good evening, everyone. So yeah, Joshua is kind of onto something, you know. You have that you compliment, you know, the person compliment you or you compliment each other. You know, there's a desire to always want to be in their presence, and you know, a longing when you're not together, that kind of thing. You know, the excitement you feel when you hear their voice, whether it's on the phone, you never get enough of the conversation. So you can tend to go into long hours in conversation, and it doesn't seem to be sufficient even when it's time for it to come to an end. You know, they build you, you know, when you build them, that kind of thing. You feel satisfied with, you know, like whatever they do, as small as it may be, you know, is just like, it's like a big thing, no matter how small it is. You know, you tend to always want to do your best for them, and vice versa. Well, I shouldn't say vice versa, because you're talking about you being in love, right? So yeah, you always want to do your best for them. You'll you know, as these men like to use lyrics, but literally you feel you could swim the ocean, you know, and that kind of thing. Because if they're in distress, you want to know that you can be there for them, you know, that they can reach you when they need you, you know, you're available, and you're open to meeting their needs or helping them accomplish their goals, pushing them if they seem, indecisive about something, motivating and encouraging them to go the distance and achieve, and be the best that they can be, that kind of thing, basically.
Thank you. Interesting. Very interesting.
We have another comment, Dr. Richard.
Yeah.
I don't understand what this one means, but this comment is intense love. Intense love is one of the comments. And then
Intense
we
love.
have, and to add to that, you are concerned and genuinely care for what concerns them. And I'm thinking, add to what Elder Sherry just said, right? You are concerned and genuinely care for what concerns them. You have an earnest desire to be connected to that person. You usually want to know everything about them, and you also want to be known by them.
Right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
here lyrics.
Plenty lyrics. Now, I want to just go back to one thing that Joshua said. He said, you can be yourself around them. Is that all? Is that so? Is that really so? You're in love with somebody and you can be yourself around them. Is that? Go ahead.
Dr. Richards, yes. If you cannot be yourself around the person that you love or are in love with, then clearly you're not in love with that person. You must be able to be yourself where that person, you can see their bad qualities and their good qualities. And because of that, you don't feel judged by them, if that makes any sense,
But hold up. Let me ask this question. We are saying, how do you know that you are in love? All right. Now, being in love, in fact, let me ask you a question. Is there a difference between loving and being in love? Loving somebody and being in love with them. Is there a difference?
I let people answer now, but I would say this, Dr. Richards, there is a big difference between loving somebody and being in love. There are some people who are married and they don't love their spouse. They're not in love with the spouse. They love the spouse, but they're not in love with them. We have two hands up. Good question. All right, Dr. Richards, we one of the answers, I think so. There's a difference, and we have two hands up, and one is Joshua Richards and Yane. I think Yane is before Yane first.
Yane?
Good night, everyone.
Hi.
So I have a specific situation in my mind this entire time that everyone has been speaking. And there was someone in my life that I genuinely, and I was confused at the time because I was trying to figure out like something was missing, but I feel like I love you, And in hindsight, it really was that, that what you just said, I love you like Christ, like God loves you kind of thing. Even though you don't like the phrase. There was like a genuine desire and love, a genuine love for that person, and a genuine I know that it was love because I had this genuine desire to treat them a certain way, to be kind to them, to exercise self-control. When like if you get me vexed, I would make sure not to speak to you a certain way because I think that like that is just like how you exercise love towards people by not wanting to cause them harm, these kind of things. And that was present. But I think when people say they are in love with someone, that feeling that they're talking about is really this. We have this hormone called oxytocin, and it makes you feel close to people and all of these things. So that fuzzy feeling is like, I would say for me, what I think, this is just speculation because I have not experienced anything after that. But the speculation that I have in my mind is that when you have somebody, when you are with who you are intended to be with, and they possess the qualities that you know in your spirit that you need in a partner that because for me, I feel like I was aware that certain things was missing, so that was never activating in me. Like if you don't have certain qualities, you're not kind, you're not compassionate, I could love you, but I wouldn't feel, it doesn't make that part of me activate where I feel that kind of closeness, and that I think where the love of Christ and that human oxytocin thing meet is what we call being in love. And I think you need certain things to feel those feelings towards people. And if it's not there, you wouldn't be in love with them, but you could still love them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Yanni. And who's the next person? Joshua?
Yes, Dr. Richards. I also think there's a big difference between love with somebody and being in love with them, because looking at the way that you and First Lady are in love, and looking at the way that I treat First Lady, I love First Lady because she's my mother and I love her very much. But there is a difference to how the connection is between First Lady and I, and you and First Lady. Is like a tighter connection, meaning that you feel like you're one person. Because I see, like at home, I see you are able to finish each other's sentences, that kind of thing, like know what each other's thinking, that kind of thing. I can't do that with First Lady. I cannot do that. Somehow she always knows what I'm thinking, but I can't do that with First Lady. So I'm saying that being in love with someone is more of a closer connection than loving someone. Like I can love someone without being in love with them. Like I love my brothers, but I would not, it's a different connection to if I'm in love with someone else. So it's like a closer, but tighter bond when you're in love with somebody, but you could love someone and still have a close connection with them. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
that's how I feel.
Thank you, Joshua. Thank you. I hear you. Anyone else wants to chime in?
No hands, Dr. Richards, no hands.
We have plenty of people here who have experienced love before.
We have a comment. We have a comment. I believe love has different meanings to different people. I really don't think any one person can explain what love is unless we say God is love.
Okay, interesting. All right. Now, a lot of us, as I said, have experienced being in love. And I wanted to find out from you if there's a difference. What does it mean? Joshua says you can be yourself around the person, but is that always so? You were talking about a relationship, Joshua, where you have mutual feeling for each other and maybe you've expressed that feeling. But aren't there situations where you could be, or in fact, I should ask that, are there situations where you could be in love with somebody and they don't even know it? And when you are around them, you can't be yourself because you get this, as First Lady says, fuzzy feeling. Maybe your hands start to sweat, your heart start to beat, and you experience all these things. The oxytocin takes over. Isn't that possible? Isn't it possible to be in love with somebody and you cannot be yourself around that? Just wanted to ask that.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Someone said something.
Yes, it is, Brenda. Yes, it is. It's possible.
Oh, so it's
Yes,
possible.
yes, you're in love with somebody, and when you see them, butterflies going in your stomach, you can't even think straight. All kind of thing happens.
All right. Okay. So we have that. And there's a reason why we're doing all of this. And it will become evident. I don't know if it's tonight, but it will become evident. Anyone else?
Yes, Dr. Richards. We have here someone else said yes, it is possible. And Joshua Richards' hand is up again.
Yes, Joshua.
Yes, Dr. Richard. I think that is entirely possible because when you can be in love with someone and they're not knowing and you feel like you can't be yourself around them. And I feel like you can do that when, like, if the person, like, there are two situations that come to mind when I think of being in love with someone and they don't know. And I think of, like, if you have a good friend, like you have a friend from the opposite sex and you feel like you're close as friends and you go out a lot, you just feel like you understand each other and you're very close and you start to develop feelings for this person. And you feel like even though you're close, you still can't be entirely yourself because of how your feelings towards them. Or we could think of it like crushes. Like I'm sure everybody has had that moment where you had a crush where you feel like you feel the fuzzy feeling and you feel like you're in love with that person. And every time you're around them, you can't think straight. I mean, it's happened to me before. And it it is entirely possible, but I don't feel like it's being in love. I feel like it's just I like if when I think about it, if it's I can only see it being in love if you're close with the person already. Like if it's someone that you just met and you feel and you're just getting to know them and that kind of thing. I don't think it could be in love with them because it's not really a connection with that person. It's just love towards them. But I feel like you can be in love with someone, like a close person to you, and they could not know, and you could feel like you're not really being yourself, like you have like a kind of slight alteration to your persona. That way you still enjoy each other's company, but you're not completely yourself because of that feeling. Because you feel like if you pour yourself out, it's there's a risk of them rejecting you, that kind of thing. So I could see it happening.
Okay. Thank you, Joshua. Now,
Just we have
okay.
someone on YouTube says, oh yes. And also we have a comment that is Tutulbe.
Tutulbe. All
Tutulbe.
right. Yeah. For those of you who are outside of TNT don't know what Tutulbe means, it means that you're just mesmerized by the person. All right. But here's what the experts say. All right. The experts say that being in love focuses more on how the person makes you feel. That's what they say. It focuses more on how the person makes you feel. But loving somebody involves how you make them feel, what you want to do to make them better, to make them happier. Okay, that's what the experts say. So being in love is a feeling. This person makes me feel, my palms start to sweat, my heart start to beat, pitter patter, and I can't think straight. Tutul bay. That's being in love. And this is just the experts, huh? But they say, but loving somebody involves going out of your way to make that person happier, better, put a smile on their face, etc. Okay? Now, they also say, and this one is a Dr. Montgomery, and I'm giving you, I like to give people credit. Dr. Montgomery, I don't know the first name, I don't know if it's male or female, says, being in love, you feel intensely happy. You can't stop thinking about the person. You can't stop talking about them with your friends. Your heart still goes pitter-patter whenever the name comes up, whenever you think about them, when you see them. You just have to think about them and your heart skips a beat. That's what being in love is like, according to the experts. Now, the reason why I was asking all that, I see we only have a few more minutes, but we're going to start it. The reason why I was asking all that is because there are some things that we experience that we call love that may not necessarily be love. Okay? There are some things that we experience that we call love that may not necessarily be love. And the first thing that I want to share tonight is something called attraction. Attraction, the action or power of evoking interest in or liking for somebody or something. That's the definition of attraction. The action or the power of evoking an interest in somebody or liking somebody. A lot of time we are attracted to people. Now, you can't have love unless you're attracted, but every attraction is not love. So you might be attracted to somebody because of their personality. You might be attracted to them because they have a wonderful smile, like First Lady had the most beautiful smile in the world. You might be attracted to them because of their sense of humor, and all that is good. But you have to understand that you're liking a quality in somebody. You're being drawn to somebody because of a particular quality. It's not love. Love goes deeper than that. So the first thing I want to submit to you that we mistake for love. A lot of people now, you might say, well, I understand that. That's, you know, well, that's you, but there are a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people, when you really question them, when you really dig deep, you realize, I'm just attracted to the person. There's something about this person that makes me think about them, that I'm drawn to them. They make me smile. Love is more than that. Love is not just an attraction. Attraction is part of love and can lead to love, but attraction in itself is not love. And a lot of people mistake this thing called attraction, and they think that they love, oh, because they think every time they think about the person smile, or the person has a beautiful smile, and they think about the person all the time, or they hear the person's voice in their head all the time, or they, you know, something about the person they keep remembering because there's some quality that this person has, but that's not necessarily love. So we're going to look at some other things that we're going to stop here for tonight, that some things that we call love, or call being in love, I should say, that is not necessarily being in love. Okay, so we're gonna look at that, and I want you, as your homework, to try and think up of some other things. Go in your head. Maybe you had an experience where you thought it was love and then realized, hey, there's not love. I'm not in love with him. I'm not in love with her. And you would share with us. You don't have to call the person's name. You don't have to tell us about this, you know, anything that would point towards the person. But I want you to go back in your mind. Were you ever in a relationship with somebody that you thought you were in love with them, and it turned out to be something else rather than that? We're going to talk about that tomorrow night when we come, God's willing. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your patience and for your attention. God richly bless you. We love you dearly. Please continue to pray for Mama Janet Gomes, and so that she'll be returned to her family, you know, and she'll be stronger, even stronger than she was before. God